Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. You name the game and we will play it. We are currently sometime in the beginning of December 1982.
If you hurry down to Burger King, we'll give you free coupons that emit 2 for the price of 1 to Metro Zoo. And if that makes you jump for joy, you'll flip over this. Buy a delicious chicken sandwich at Burger King and save $1 on the new monorail safari, where you'll get a great view of the new African plains. With these coupons, a family of 4 can save more than $10, and that ain't peanuts.
And last time we were getting crazy playing some games on home consoles. And we are still starting the beginning of the holiday season in December 1982. These are still right at the beginning of December. Let's see what our next release is. Our next video game is still crazy. It's Crazy Painter on the TRS-80, Model 1 or Model 3. Here's the box, and wow, that is bright, neon, colorful, and pretty much describing what the game's all about. So this is first available on the TRS-80, and it's the 145th game we've seen for this first 1977 computer that was one of the trinity of home computers at the time. This is by Cornsoft Group, the ninth time we've seen this company bringing us games like, it says on the front, the makers of Scarfman. We've also seen Space Castle and Avenger, just to name a few. So this box is actually pretty good. I'm actually really glad the Launchbox database has, someone's been posting these boxes, because a lot of them you can't find, or the original TRS-80 boxes. But here it is, the very first time you would have seen Crazy Painter, because it's going to be on lots of other home computers. Let's flip it over the back. Suddenly, everyone's a critic in this frenzied game of Paint Us, Interrupt Us. I wouldn't have described it like that, but okay. Crazy Painters, exclusive challenge stages, and a barrage of characters until time runs out. You can see on the back, they already have lots of information, and Cornsoft Group has done that before. This one is done by Robert Pappas, the third time we've seen this developer. Way to go, Robert. He did Bounceoids. He also did Frogger, the official Frogger, which is awesome on the TRS-80. So I'm looking for really good amazingness coming from this game. The back of the box shows the scoring, and the controls can be keyboard or joystick controlled on your TRS-80, which is awesome. The loading instructions, we don't need to know about loading. All our games load so fast. I won't subject you to anything loading. So let's see the other artwork we have for Crazy Painter. He looks so happy. There's the 5 1/4 floppy disk. We're going to pop into our Model 1 and Model 3. That looks too clean. That looks like is that a real scan? Oh, I guess it is a real scan. Man, that is a really nice scan. Way to go, you, whoever scanned that for us. And here's the manual for Crazy Painter. There it is, Robert Pappas. Licensed by Mycosis. You can see here, you're going to become the Crazy Painter and create a masterpiece if you can. There's a dog, snakes, poisonous turpentine buckets forcing challenges on your painting. In higher skill levels, paint eaters start chewing on your work. Suddenly, everyone's a critic. And we even have an exclusive challenge mode in the game. So the object of the game is just to paint the screen. It says white, but I actually changed the monitor screen so we can play on our TRS-80. But we'll see when we get there. All you do is move the paintbrush all around, and then whenever you're done, you push spacebar to say your score is complete. We have obstacles like dogs, or dogs with turpentine buckets. Oh, that'll ruin our paint job. And then we have snakes and Crazy Painter eaters, and it boots on your Model 1 or Model 3. I'm still going to play on the Model 1. Let's check out Crazy Painter. See what Robert Pappas and Cornsoft Group has for us in the beginning of December 1982. And I changed our screen from a new coat of paint since we're playing Crazy Painter. It looks so cool. Usually we play this one in black and white, but I went with the green one for this one. This will be fun. What's our first experience like? Oh, it already has very nice presentation, at least a title screen. It looks a little scary. We can do directions. There we go. There's the dog worth 500 points. The dog with the turpentine. Wait, what's the difference? Oh, okay, it has dots on the back. Be careful. Don't touch this dog, but touch that dog. If you touch the turpentine one, it'll drop the bucket. And then there's the turpentine bucket. Don't touch that flashing one. But your paintbrush looks pretty similar for that. Is everyone getting all the instructions? We do have the snake. Watch out for them. They try to eat your brushes. If they see you, try to run, and they'll turn into a turpentine bucket. And then we have the crazy paint eater. He eats our good job. And the object is just to paint the whole screen. It says white, but I turned the screen green. And yeah, I see Marshall's asking about joystick. Yes, joystick controlled. Love it when the TRS-80 has that. And you can hit all the challenge stages before the time reaches 0, and we can end the game. And there's our controls. I don't believe we can remap them. Yeah, can't remap them, but there it is if you want to use keyboard controls. Let's go in. We can do a 2-player game, but it's hot seat multiplayer, so it really doesn't matter. I'll do a 1-player game, and we have skill levels. Let's start at skill level 0. Here we go. So it just is this. It is literally moving the joystick around to paint the screen and cover the whole thing up. Depending on what monitor you're using, you can have different colors coming from your TRS-80. I just chose green because to change it up. But there's also an amber one that you could pick from, and of course the black and white style or more gray style one. There we go. Yes. Yeah, Russell, that's right. They're emulating that classic flicker. But this is so relaxing and calm. There's no enemies right now. And notice we're not racking up a score because we don't rack up the score until the very end, until we paint the whole thing over. Oh, there's a dog, but it's not a turpentine dog. So we can touch it. We do get a little bit of points for that. All right. Go all the way across. Paint everything. And can I get points now? No. I have to wait until I paint the whole screen before the spacebar works. Look at that. Good paint job. We just covered the whole screen. So these style of games, we've called them grid capture games. We go to the challenge stage, but this one doesn't play exactly like a grid capture game. Oh, this is such a cool challenge stage. Just touch all the dogs before they go across the screen. If you're on the main paint mode, if one of the dogs makes it to the other side, then you lose your bonus. So this one is just tons and tons of dogs. Look how much is happening. That's a lot of movement going on the screen. So well done. While I'm controlling this with a digital joystick, it kind of feels like this would be... Actually, I think this is analog. Yeah, analog joystick. This feels like it should be controlled with a mouse. Or maybe at some point it should have been a mouse control. Oh, that's interesting, Curtis. I kept some of it in because I could have changed the emulation. Every now and then I have to decide how I really want it to look. And most of the time I fall to as genuine as I can or as close as I can to make it like it would be you playing it. Oh, there's the snake. Get away from him. Oh, and there's the eater. Let's see, we can take care of this dog. Then we got lots of enemies on the screen. Avoid. Oh, did he get us? Oh, it dropped a turpentine bucket that I must have missed. It looked kind of like my paintbrush. So this game is the 24th grid capture game, or like filling in something or completing something that we've played so far on the show. Games like RX or Amidar come to mind, Time Runner or Painter that we saw on the Acorn Atom. But the game that really is close to this, or as close as we could, would be Kix, Q-I-X, that we saw in the arcade. But this one still doesn't play exactly like Kix. This one is, I'm more free to fill the whole screen or cover the whole screen across. There's not a lot of stipulations, so it's actually really refreshing and fun to play this one. And it's a different style or take on anything we've seen thus far. So there's nothing doing exactly what Painter or Crazy Painter is doing so far. Spacebar. Great job. Bonus. That's true. It is original. And it is fun. In a way, you could call this in the same vein as some of the other art programs we played where you move a cursor around the screen and draw things. Oh my gosh, the dogs are going so fast. Oh, if they make it to the other side, that's okay in the challenge stage. But right now it's just based on how many can you touch before they reach the other side. It still makes me feel like this should be mouse controlled, but mouse controlled games really don't exist. We did play Pinball Construction Set, the first one that Bill Budge has put out. That one, some some sources have said you could use a mouse like later for that, but right now you wouldn't have played or been able to play with a mouse. Plus, when you look at the manual, it doesn't mention a mouse yet, so we really don't have the very first mouse-controlled video game yet. It is only December 1982, but it's gonna be close. I wonder when it is. What will be the first game? Everyone place your bets now. All right, then we go in, and we're gonna add some more enemies to the loop. So I like the way this is controlled. It does feel way too smooth for the TRS-80. Very well programmed. Yes. This one doesn't really feel as much because they don't have too many coming on the screen. I did pick difficulty level 0, though. So if you go into the higher difficulties, more things can happen. Okay, so there's the snake to avoid. Just don't touch it. I can touch the dog, though. And then we have another enemy. Did it drop a turpentine bucket? No, it didn't. Well, we have to avoid... Okay, there's the turpentine bucket. It's a little flashing one right here below my cursor. But then most of the screen's flashing, so it's kind of hard to point everyone in the right direction. All right, let's see. He's ruining it. I'm not supposed to touch him, though? And just let him? Let me try touching him. What happens? Oh, I can. Yeah, get rid of him. Okay, I can destroy him. But don't see any turpentine buckets, so we look okay. Got to cover everything. This is very not based on December 1982, but there is a more modern game called like Power Wash Simulator, and this is like the very first kind of game that's filling or cleaning something, I guess, of all the games we've seen up to this point. It almost makes you feel like I'm kind of doing a psychological test, depending on how I cover the screen, since I'm going up and down, what kind of personality I have. That's what feels like a little bit. Ready, go. Yes, great job. Did I get a bonus? Yes, I did. Very nice. And then we go right to the challenge stage. So this is the first time we've ever seen any game that's going to be like this or Crazy Painter. It's going to be released on lots of different home computers after this, and some of them are going to do things a little bit differently. But right now, having the first time or ever seeing anything like this or playing anything like this, I do enjoy the video games we see that have bonus stages, because that's just changing up instead of just having one thing, it's novel. There's still plenty of video games that when you boot the game up, what you see in the first few seconds is the entire game. So it's great that they're changing it up with this little challenge stage, giving us more like an arcade experience at home, which is kind of nice. So this crosshair and cursor gameplay is also a little interesting, but it's being done differently than the other games we've seen up to this point. So we'll see Crazy Painter again. This time, I would want to keep going and get even higher scores and see even more crazy things that happen on the screen. But you got to admit, it's interesting and it's different. And here on Chronologically Gaming, since we've seen everything up to this point, every video game, anything that's interesting and different, I welcome. And it's great. So looking over the chat, we already have some ratings flowing in. Paul saying 3.5 stars. James saying 3, good. Curtis is saying 3 to 3.5. 3 stars from Marshall. 2.5 from Charlie. So that's pretty much the average range of all the games you could play right now on all home computers. You're thinking about 3 stars. I actually am about the 3 to 3.5 mark for all the games you could see up to this point. This being the first one, and it's original, and you could get in a course of how changing the difficulty up and playing a little bit more. Charlie's saying 2.5. 2.5 from Grim. Yeah, so most people are saying pretty much around the average range. I'm going to say because this is the first time we've seen Crazy Painter, and we'll see other iterations of it, it's fresh. So I'm going to say 3.5 stars. An above average game when you consider everything you could play on all home computers, just because of the originality. That's what's putting it over the top of the average for me. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. And most people should know because it's part of the thumbnail for this episode. Our next video game is Crypt of the Undead on the Atari home computer. Let's check it out together. Oh, very nice. This one we've already seen sort of. We saw the Crypt, which was on the Atari home computer and the Apple II. It was essentially like a beta or first version of this. This is the complete final version of this. And this marks the 432nd game we've seen on the Atari home computer. There are so many Atari games that we played so far, and it's a great computer for video gaming because it allows you to plug in the Atari VCS joystick. And look at the front, it's by Epix. They are epic. Epic is one of the first times they've used this moniker since the beginning of all video games, and they were known as automated simulations. So whether it's automated simulations or epics, this is the 43rd video game we've seen by this company. They've done a lot of games. Things like Crush, Crumble, and Chomp, or Alien Garden, which was a very weird experience, but I've used this artwork before because on the Crypt, it really didn't have anything I could find. This one's done very well. So Epix took over and they've cleaned it up. The game doesn't have as many bugs as it had before, and so this one is like the finished product. And the front of the box is so good. Scary. We're going to play some horror games. You flip this over in the back, you can see it's by Mark Russell Benioff. Again, this is the 11th time we've seen Mark Russell Benioff on the show. He's currently the CEO of Salesforce and the owner of Time Magazine. And he gave us a really nice nod for pointing out one of his first games he ever did on Twitter, I believe, or X, or whatever they call it now. But Mark Russell Benioff is going to go on to do lots of other things besides this one. This isn't the end. I think we're going to have one more we'll see before 1982. So you awake to find yourself in a cemetery. How you got there is of no importance. The back of this box is the way Epix does a lot of their boxes, giving you a kind of lore or story on the far left side, and then breaking down just facts, color graphics and sound, real time, 10 through adult. Okay, that makes sense. And then playtime is 30 minutes to hours of fun, with an example of a screenshot. It should have a book of lore, and we have the book of lore. Let's see the other artwork we have for Crypt of the Undead. Besides the box, here's the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time. Still really nice artwork. Oh, there's a vampire in the back. I didn't notice that from before. It shows. It says this game is both puzzle solving and role playing intrigue. Superb graphics and sound, color animation, hours of challenging terror. And this one is unique. There's not a lot of games that do this. There's our 5 1/4 floppy disk. You need a double-sided density floppy disk for your Atari home computer. This has two sides, usually referred to as side A and side B. And we're playing the lore drink game. I love it. So here's the book of lore right here. More artwork, very nicely done. You can see on the left side, this is done by Liberty Software, among a few other people. Wait a second, VIC-20? Wait, VIC-20 was crypted? Oh, maybe we're going to see that one later on the VIC-20, because I wasn't aware it was on the VIC-20. But this is the 7th time we've seen a video game by Liberty Software. It's essentially the company that Mark Russell Benioff is working with right now. And as we go down, we have more artwork. Suddenly, like one who on a lonely road doth walk in fear and dread. Wow, they're doing poetry too. Oh, it has a great story. Look, run, God, run, my brain screamed. And I'm crashed blindly through bushes, scrambling over boulders, banging into the tombstones, stumbling over grave markers in my horrified flight in the darkness. Wow, this is really good and long. So you can read this at your leisure as we go through. Look how much we got. This is a massive story, because this is not your average video game. This is not an arcade game. This is an action game. I'll give it that. But it's doing things with adventure elements, is how we would describe it, or role-playing elements. It's not a true role-playing game, and it's not a true adventure game. It's kind of in between, but that's what we've seen with a few games now. Look at this. So much going on. I'm not going to read the whole story, but that is a lot of pages of story. And then it goes into the right above my head here. Did you ever remember back when you were small, warning you, watch out for the boogeyman will get you? Imagine that you're not sure why you would get out. The gates were locked. The walls were too high to climb over. Imagine you being chased by all sorts of dreadful creatures. Now, as one of my favorite radio hosts, the Hermit, used to say, turn out your lights, turn them out, and turn on your computer. So here's how you finally play this game. You awake in the middle of the night surrounded by a vast, desolate graveyard. You have to get out of there before dawn or remain forever as one of the undead. You plug in joystick into port 1, go into side 1 of the disc. You approach the outer walls and discover they're too high for you to climb over. You try to leave the main gate and you'll find that it's locked. So you have to get out, and you can't get out that easy. They give you a hint to explore a map or draw a map, sketching each section out. But this one, you don't draw a map the same way you would in every other text adventure game. Your objective is to find a way out. You have to find a key, and when you find the key, their computer will have a name on it, and you'll have to find that place to search for next. In your travels, you'll find treasures around, like gold pieces or bagels. They will help you How are bagels going to help us? Gold's going to add to our wealth and power, and bagels provide you with nourishment in order to keep you alive. Now, when you say power, gold is like our way of kind of collecting experience points, because you'll be fighting zombies, werewolves, and things like that all on the graveyard, and the fights are all random, but they are based on your stats, and your stats are quote unquote the gold that you find. So what you want to avoid is vampires, zombies, werewolves, and other things when you get in the beginning. When you battle them, all you do is you push a button and then it kind of rolls the dice to see what happens. And you walk through tombstones, crypts, rocks, and buildings. It says bang and ouch and things like that. So one of the hints they tell you here is the early stages of the game, while your power is low, it's just best to run away from monsters until you find more gold. But you are going to be consuming, by yourself, bagels. So the bagels is what's going to keep you alive because you'll be having to eat them. So there's a little bit of a nourishment mechanic to the game. If you want to keep track of your status, you can at any time using the joystick. And that's basically it. So they've kind of simplified the role-playing or adventure-style game. Let's see what Crypt the Undead is really like. Our first experience. By Liberty Software, Mark Russell Benioff, now by Epix in the beginning of December 1982. Let's do this. Did I crash it? I think I already did. Now, I was going to say this is not the super buggy version, but it still has a little bit of bugs because this game is pushing the limits of what most games would do at the time. I want to let everyone know that the first few versions we played and a lot of the stuff that Liberty Software did before this was published by Crystalware. Crystalware did a lot of their games on the Atari home computer on the OS version A, which is the most buggy. Ooh, we get music. Creepy. It's already scary. All right, so for a game that boasts everything we just saw in the manual, there's not a whole lot of games that are doing that right now. We'll go ahead and start a new game. We're not going to load an old game. Some of the other games you could play that are similar or close to this would be Beneath the Pyramids, Fantasyland 2041 AD, House of Usher, Quest for Power, Sands of Mars, The Forgotten Island, Clonus 1 and 2, The Bermuda Experience, or Treasure Island. All those games are very similar in scope and theme and the way they look. All right, so here's how the game works. I can move using my Atari VCS joystick way better than when we played on the Apple II. As you move around, the screen is clearly letting us move around, but the scroll is very, very choppy. Like, notice we have a wall. Oh, there it is. You can't get out that easy, so it won't let us leave that way. And then at the top, we do have a zombie, I believe, that's trying to scope us out, but we won't let it go past. And if I want to, I can go up past it because this is actually, it's memory lane. I love how they label everything, but I'm going to avoid everything because we're looking for treasure. Now, if I push the red button, it's going to tell me, do you want to save the game or do you want to look at your inventory? So all I got to do is move the joystick and it shows us our inventory. Right now we got no gold pieces. We have 100 power, the hour, because remember we have only so long to get out of here. And then how many bagels we have. So we're slowly eating bagels. If you run out of bagels, then you die. All right, so we got 5 bagels. We're doing okay. Well, we do need more bagels. So we start exploring around. We have a church up there. Oh, there we go. Now the treasure is what we're looking for. This flashing part. Oh, 4 bagels. Good. And now we're in a forest area. I think I can walk through the trees. But the idea of a video game giving this kind of freedom is still very rare to see and play. It's pretty simplistic when you think of modern standards, but right now, any game that's been doing this has been awesome. It is so cool to be able to walk around freely. What do we get? Oh, 8 more bagels. We're doing great. And then now our power is 100. Okay, so it gives us our status. That's nice. I didn't have to go in my inventory to check. But now what we really need is some more gold. So this should be, that's the other wall, so we can't go past that. So we're going to be wandering around looking for more items to collect. And then eventually we'll get to areas that have a cemetery or the tomb. And then we can 3 more bagels. Man, it must be random because the last time I was doing the playtest, it was mostly gold I was picking up. So you see we come across something over here. What in the world is this? It's a giant building. This is also strange that we're picking up, or we have the ability to pick up gold, but we don't really spend it on anything. Now, how do I go in? Is it this? It's the Cecil B. DeMille Hall. That's nice. All right, how many bagels do we have? How many have we been eating? We have 20 bagels. Great. Okay, so we're not going to die because we didn't eat any bagels for a long time. All right, let's go. Oh, that's not the door? All right, I thought we could go inside. Let's try the other side. Can we go in this door? Okay, thank you for the status update. No, you can't go in that door. Maybe it's just for looks, but we can't go inside the building, because I think if I go up here... No. That's so weird. It's like they're telling us we could go inside, because we've played a few games like the House of Usher where we're inside of a building, moving from room to room. We've also played a few games that don't look exactly like this, but they're obviously an homage to Adventure, the one that Warren Robinette did on Atari 2600. This one isn't much like that. It doesn't play the exact same way. All right, we got 4 more bagels. Man, we need more gold, though. We're not going to be able to fight anybody. We need the power. Yeah, our power's staying just at 100 right now. Oh, that's true. Maybe we need a key to go inside. It's strange that they would say ouch, though, to go in the building if we didn't have a key. It'd be more helpful if they told us we need the key. Now we have the Oriental Cemetery. What does that mean? Can we not go? Oh, we can't go past each one. I gotta watch out for enemies so we don't hit anything. And then we got another wall. We can't get out of the crypt that easy. I like the way this one plays. It's more straightforward action game. There's the other one that I mentioned, Fantasyland 2041, that was so large in scope and so massive that it's almost unplayable because of how difficult it is. The other one, Sands of Mars, is kind of the same way. This one's very simple, but I also love how they made it really easy to play with the joystick. Oh, we got a zombie coming. Oh, we can't go through the... Oh, the zombie's in the top right. Okay. We can't go through any of the tombstones, which is also a little strange. All right, so we're making our way through the cemetery. Gosh, this is massive. No way, is that Vincent Price Lane? I do enjoy the little spurts of comedy. Oh, Vincent Price Way. Nice, but I mean, look at this. We're still only on side 1 of the disc, and they had to use the disc because of how large this is. The world is just a very, very large place to explore. Now, you could say it's boring because you know it's so open and there's not a whole lot of stuff to find. Oscar's Grove. But I find this intriguing. I find this like the beginning of games we're going to be seeing much later, like The Legend of Zelda, starting here, getting some kind of inspiration for that. Here's Westgate. 102 gold pieces. That's better. Did it do anything to our power? Let's see. Nope. Still have power at 100. We need a lot more gold to change our power. But as long as we're still alive, I didn't notice what our bagels are at. Okay, we're at 24 bagels. Still okay. Oh, there's one. What do we got over here? 61 gold pieces. Nice. And looks like we're at the edge of the map on this side. If you were playing this for the first time, you might map it out the same way you would do with a text adventure game. And I could see myself wanting to know where everything is or where to find everything, because I have yet to see gameplay footage or myself pick up a key to be able to go to the end or where a door is to the exit. Oh, what's over here? Do we flip to the other side? I just walked off the south side of the screen, and now it's loading on disk. Cool! So it went to another spot. All right, so what do we have here? So it actually does stop scrolling eventually, but that's still a very large world. All right, let's see. Do we have anything in this cemetery? This looks like Dunlap Way, and there's something over there, possibly a werewolf coming after us. Yeah, Jeremiah, gold is the one that gives us power. At least it explained that in the manual. Right now, it looks like our power hasn't changed. Maybe we got to get a lot more gold, because we're not going to be able to be buying anything. There's not a... is there an inventory? Yeah, this inventory is more like a static inventory. We're not going to pick up new items. We have played a few games like this where you do have inventory that you can pick up and use. Big Eagle Lake. And it looks like we can't go across it. What is this one? Oh, treasure chest over here. Looks like a briefcase. 66 gold pieces. Very nice. Looking pretty good. And you make a great point, Grim. Yeah, Ultima 1 and 2 exist right now. And Ultima 1 and 2, though, were keyboard controlled only. To be able to move around with a joystick like this is nice, but you notice that the level of detail, Ultima 1 and 2 on a home computer is amazing. It is so, so good. It's I gave them both 5-star ratings because there's nothing that is that complex, and it's just executed very well. But here you can see this one is a little more dumbed down compared to those. That's why it's not really a true role-playing game and not really a true adventure game. But it's definitely not an arcade game. And that would be the majority of games we've seen so far. We got a giant woods over here. Power's still sitting at 100. What's our bagels? Oh, I didn't mean to save. I accidentally saved, but we can come back to it later. So looking 353, but power is still 100. When's my power going to go up, I wonder? So we're still just wandering around the crypt. We are not terrified whatsoever. The box made it sound like we're going to have a very scary experience. But right now, if for my money, if I was going to play what's the scariest game that you could play right now on any system, I would still say 3D Monster Maze is one of the scariest, or maybe Hunt the Wumpus as one of the scariest games. Is anyone in the live chat want to tune in to say what would be the scariest video game you could play right now? Ooh, is that a key? No, it's just a tree. Oh, maybe we have to convert it? It didn't say anything about that, though. Yeah, no, there's not a way to convert. At least the joystick's not working. They're keeping the user interface very simplistic. It's not something with the same detail as like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Looks like we got 2 chests down here. 4 more bagels. I'll take that. Oh, Haunted House on the Atari VCS. That's another good one. Oh, and Curtis, yes. I should have said Phantom Slayer. Yep, that one would be another one. Phantom Slayer would be one of the top ones at this point, too. You have to turn all the lights off. I got too much light on me. That's why I'm not getting scared. All right, we got another chest up here. 56 more gold pieces. And I haven't done any battles. I want to do one battle if we can find someone to see, just show you what it's like. It's very similar to the rest of those other games I've mentioned. And very random. Maybe we can run into a werewolf and see what happens. Oh, the trees. I can't walk through these. Oh, there's a wall. Okay, so it looks like we have a large building right here. The size for everything is so big. Oh, we can go in? Let's go in. The mortuary. 6 more bagels. Looking good. It's Mark's mortuary. When people don't do what they're supposed to at Salesforce, this is where they go. Mark sends them to this mortuary. That was more of a modern joke. It's the beginning of December 1982. But it's still really fun. We have a chapel here. Now, this area looks very similar to House of Usher. Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay, let's fight him. Who do we got? So all you got to do to fight someone, looks like they can't go over text. That's pretty funny. Is you just walk up next to him, and then it begins the fight. Ooh, a headless woman is attacking us. It's Susan. Susan, the headless woman, is attacking us. So all you have to do is push the red button to attack. That means we're going to engage in the attack. And then it starts this roll, like randomness. And then it's calculating the red button. And you just push your red button, and then it's going to determine how much we lose or what Susan, the headless woman, loses. Ready, and go. We lose 2. Got a solid punch on it. That was nice. Susan's attacking. I wonder if Susan's like Mark's mom or girlfriend or something. All right, ready? Push the red button to attack. Let's test our luck again. And you can see there's lots of randomness of can lose what. Ready, set, go. Oh, lose 6. That's not good. Susan has slain us. And that's how we die. We can push start to reincarnate, but I'll just stop us there. That's pretty much what you'd have for your first experience playing Crypt of the Undead. We played a little bit more than how we played the original Crypt version, but this game plays very similar to a lot of the games by Liberty Software or Crystalware. This one is still amazing because these kinds of games exist, but I already know the bigger role-playing games that are out there on home computers and the other video games you could play on home computers. There's another fun one that's not as well known called Galahad and the Holy Grail that plays more like Atari's Adventure. This one plays a lot like the other ones, but they're trying to make it a little more simplistic and more about the exploration. Looking over the chat, of all the games you could play on all home computers, I'm seeing Paul throwing out a 3-star rating, Charlie saying 4, 3 from Grim, 4 from Jeremiah, 4 from Marshall, and Curtis saying, yep, yeah, Ultima Wizardry, still holding as a 5-star game. I'm going to say Crypt of the Undead is 4. It's an excellent video game for everything you could play on home computers right now. And the longer you'd play, you kind of get into the concept of your power and gold and what you can use. And if they added a few more elements to this, it would be something like Fantasyland 2041, which has a lot, big inventory system, more adventure elements and role-playing elements that are part of it. So still fun. Great run-through of Crypt of the Undead. Alright, now it's time for us to pause that video game, because most of the video games now have the pause element. It feels like you can pause an arcade game. It's so cool. I want to thank, again, everyone that's here for the live show. We're at the beginning of December 1982, seeing these video games for the first time as if it was the very first time. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, it's time to battle cyborgs on the TRS-80 color computer, cyber rats on the ZX Spectrum, and we are playing Stern's latest 3D arcade game. That's it for today, and like I always say, next time you head down to the Crypt, bring plenty of bagels. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.